In this video, I'm going to share with you my favorite 5 free features of Chessable.com. I think it's fair to say that I am a Chessable power user. In fact, I'm up to a 1,250 day streak using their site. So it's a cornerstone of my chess training, and I think it can help you out a lot as well. Many of their most powerful features cost no money. So in this video, I'm going to show you where they are and how to use them. My name's Nathan Rose, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. I do all kinds of videos around chess, including how to use my favorite chess tools and software. I also review master games, talk about the game's history, and provide tips on how you can become a stronger chess player. So onto the tools. The first one I want to show you is saved positions. So as you're doing your review of the variations, you can find a position which you don't quite understand. In this position, for example, white's rook is under attack by the black queen and it's white to move. What should white do? Well, a very natural move could be, for example, to give this check with rook f4, but it's saying that that's incorrect. Now let's say you want to look into this a bit more. You want to understand why that rook f4 move was wrong. Well, what you can do is you can go into the top right and you can click this star icon. So make sure that the star is filled in so that it's yellow. So once it's starred, it means that the position has been saved, like bookmarked for later. That means that you can keep going with the flow of your training. You can keep reviewing the other variations, but that position that you wanted to come back to will be there waiting for you in a place which I'll show you now. So you go into Tools and then Save Positions, and there it is. That's that position that we had just saved. And then you can load up your favorite analysis software, right? Grab the FEN code. For example, I use chess.com, and you can go to that position and you can be like, okay, well, rook f4 check. Why is that wrong? And you can see, okay, well, after rook f4 check, king e8, and maybe white doesn't have anything immediate. White is still better, but you missed out on a chance to gain a decisive advantage, and then you can explore that. It's like, okay, so why is rook d7 check so good? You can see the different variations there. And by doing this review, it all adds to your understanding of the position. But mainly the thing is you can save positions that you can come back to later, and it's very convenient to have all of those all in one place. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is fast forward time. So Chessable naturally uses a system called spaced repetition, which means it's giving you variations which you've gotten wrong recently, more often than positions which you have consistently got right, and which therefore Chessable figures that you know and it's in your long-term memory. But what if you've got an important tournament coming up and you want to review absolutely everything, even the things which Chessable believes you don't need to? Well, if you want to review everything within a course or within a chapter, you can fast forward time. What you'll need to do is you'll need to buy a fast forward time token by going to the Ruby store. Okay, Rubies, by the way, is Chessable's gamification. So whenever you complete a day of training, you get either 1 ruby or 2 rubies, depending on how long your streak is. You can also earn rubies in other ways, like other users can gift them to you if you provide helpful comments. But normally you end up accumulating a lot of these rubies and you need something to spend them on. So the most useful thing to spend them on is fast forward time. So let's go into the Ruby store, and you want to click here, fast forward time. You've got to buy a token which costs 25, and then once you've done that, I'm actually going to buy 2 of them because I want to show you 2 different ways of using it. You can then go into one of your courses, like let's say I go into my black opening repertoire and I want to just review one chapter. Let's say I want to go into the Samish variation, and within that chapter I can fast forward time on the chapter. Okay, note that you have to do it under chapter options, because if you do it under course options, then you'll fast forward time on the entire course, and maybe you don't want that. Okay, if I click here, fast forward time, then it'll fast forward the variations up for review on the entire chapter. So let's click that, fast forward. And you can see now that whereas before none of the variations in that chapter were up for review, now all 35 of them are. You can do the same thing on an entire course. So let's say I go to the My Strategy course. If I clicked fast forward time, then everything in all of the chapters will be up for review. Be careful with this, because an entire course can be quite large, and if you fast forward time on the whole thing, then you can find yourself with an increased workload. But if you want to go through, for example, your entire repertoire, then fast forward time gives you the option to do that. The third feature I want to tell you about is priority lines. So if your personal courses are like mine, and that they've ballooned out to be hundreds or even over 1,000 variations, you need some way of classifying the most important subset of those. So what are the variations which are most difficult to remember or which occur most often? That's what priority lines allow you to do. So if I go to my white opening repertoire and I open up the Scotch, you can see that I've got 204 variations there. But out of those 204, I've got a smaller number of these which I've classified as priority lines. If I go into review and just click priority lines only, you'll see that the number in the Scotch opening chapter has gone down to 60. So just 60 variations to review, which is a bit more manageable than over 200. And that allows me to focus on the most important variations. So in order to set up a priority line, you go into Edit Variations, and that's going to give you a list of every variation you've got within that chapter. And you click on this gear icon. Let's say that I want to make this variation here into a priority, then I just tick the priority box, and that's now a priority line. If I go back, you'll be able to see that there's now 61 priority lines within the chapter. Of course, if you make everything a priority line, then it defeats the purpose of it. So you really want to be quite strict with which lines you designate as priorities. For example, I've got this variation here which runs 16 moves deep, and every move is quite critical. If you miss one move, then you end up being worse. So that's why I designate this as an important line for myself to remember. Feature number 4 is paid course variation preview. So in addition to being able to host your own personal courses, which you've set up yourself, Chessable also has many courses for sale. Before you decide to buy these courses, you can check out some of the material for free. Let me show you how to do that. So this is a course on the Nimzo Indian defense, which has been compiled by a grandmaster. If you just scroll down to right underneath the video, you can see Explore Variations. And you can pick 10 variations within the course, or if it's a small course, then up to 10% of the total number of variations that the course has, and try them out. So let's just pick this one, for example, and then click Try this variation for free. It's been claimed, so let's go and learn it. And you can see that we're actually getting to experience the course just as though we'd paid for it, for this variation at least. You can see the arrows, you can see all the commentary that's been put together, and it's a great way to see if you like the style of the repertoire or of the teacher before you commit your hard-earned money. Chessable also has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can also try the whole course and then get a refund if you don't like it, but without even pulling out your credit card, you can already play around with the course and see if it's for you. Okay, so then the final feature number 5, is Puzzle Connect. This is really cool. This allows you to pull positions from games which you've played in online chess, either chess.com or Lichess, and then Chessable will automatically create trainable variations out of mistakes that you've made. So let me show you what I mean. Go on Tools and then Puzzle Connect. Choose your playing zone, so enter your username, click Submit, and it says that it can take 3 hours, but in reality it's a lot quicker than that. So as of right now, it's still loading up all the variations from chess.com, but let me show you the Lichess variations, which I prepared earlier. So these variations have been pulled from my games and are now presented to me as trainable variations, and that's all happened automatically. If I click on one of them, you can see that this is a position from one of my games, and now it's a tactic for me to solve. You take here first, and then white wins a piece this way. All this was created with no effort on my part. It was automatically generated through Puzzle Connect, which I think is pretty awesome. So those are the 5 free features of Chessable for you to use.